We busting in the side, the front. Ray out of town. Me and Rob finna do it the right way. Modern woman. Where they came from, defining them, and can we work with them right now? Rob, modern woman. Now, they spell it different because it got popular over the internet with a famous YouTuber always was talking about modern women, the different attitude. And we're going to define it a little bit more and make sure we got a simple understanding of what it means, a modern woman. And I want to look at it, and then we'll come back at it because we're going to have to do this in the part two so we can keep this interesting and so that women could really find out how they place, and then men can find out if that's something they dealing with, or is it, or can they deal with it, and how are we going to be able to continue to grow as a culture, as a people, with a certain mentality. Modern woman, Rob, what you got?
Well, I think modern women want a traditional man, meaning that they want a man that's going to...
No, we're going to get to that.
Oh,
I want you to define what you understand as a modern woman.
Okay. Well, what I define as a modern woman is a woman that's independent, right? That means she basically means that she don't need a man for nothing. She can pay her own bills. She can do everything. Basically, a modern woman is, how can I say, it's pretty much when it comes down to a woman being able to do everything for themselves.
Or the belief that they don't need a man. They just need to be re-educated because, of course, men created the world that women are modern in. They made it comfortable. They protect it. Everything is right there. Everything is protected. So just to be a little bit more educated, so they could understand that to say that you don't need a man probably wouldn't be conducive to build those relationships that's needed for a community and for people to be able to work together. Mm-hmm. Some women do talk like that, and then it's conducive. Men, we know we need women. We're a little bit different. We understand how important it is to be a woman. The perfect definition is what they used to always say: can't live with them, can't live without them. That's probably one of the best ways you can describe it because they cancel each other out. It's just they are, as we just read the definition, they're born inherent. Yeah. Inherent necessity. What does it say? Women
born with a inherent value.
An inherent value, and that's what we were trying to talk about. And I think a lot of them don't understand that inherent value that they have because the Bible said, "Be fruitful and multiply." It's impossible to multiply without a woman, and so, of course, it's impossible to multiply without a man. Yeah. But we could survive without a woman. We can't. They can't survive without us. Okay. We can't populate the earth without women. So it's more of that necessity is to procreate and continue the humanity. Like they always say, not a lot of people look at that and say, "What do you mean we can't survive without a woman?" Yeah. I mean, what? We don't need them to survive.
Right.
They need us to survive because we build everything. They always talk about that little episode on Survivors where those women were put on a certain island, not Survivors, but one of them showed with Bear Grylls. They put all those women over there and they put all those men over there. And before the day was out, the men had already started building and everything. They had already put every man had understood their role without anybody ever saying nothing. The guys that build, fished, everything was going on. The women, within 5 hours, they had not even started a fire. They didn't know anything. They had the food that they put it in the water, and it poisoned all their water. The producers had to come in and help them because they were going to die if they wouldn't help them. So we don't need them to survive. We need them to procreate the earth, but at the same time, I don't like to have us thinking like that because we do need each other.
Yeah.
If we're gonna get where we're trying to get as a people, I don't want to just be saying But when you boil down to it, and if you really look at it, men make sure everything is going right in the world, and women need to understand our value as well as theirs.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the main things is that I think that men, we're here to help balance a woman.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what we here for, to balance a woman, because a lot of times a woman can be all over the place, and that's not a bad
with emotions.
With emotions, right?
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing, you know. But we're just here to balance a woman, you know. That's my take on it. Yeah,
and as it seems that's the prevailing mindset, that an independent woman, they don't need a man, they could do it all by themselves, and then they end up suffering because their legacy is going to die with them. Mm-hmm. They won't have children. They won't have anyone to teach that. Excuse me. That drive, those goals, and they don't have anything to pass on. So, and then the men don't want to work with a woman that doesn't need them. That's one thing about us. We got to feel that we're needed, and it seemed like that was lost with the women before, that they understood the role of a man in a relationship and in the world, and they valued that.
Yeah.
A modern woman doesn't really value a man's place in her life, and that's what keeps us so separate, and that's the prevailing mindset with all of the young women that most enroll, but they don't graduate as much as men. Men still graduate at a higher rate. Yeah. Women are most enrolled.
Right.
And so it's a lot of them coming out of there with that college debt and all these different things, and with it, they don't need no man. But we got to look at this thing and say that, can we work together?
Yeah.
Where did this mindset come from, you think? That a woman's, that over independent time. Mind.
Over time.
Yeah.
Over time. Yeah. It was, I would say, over time, it progressed. So let's say, you can see the difference in the women versus, let's say, like my grandmother, right? That generation, which was, my grandmother was a part of the silent generation, right? So as women progressed, women started, this is what we have now. In terms of the modern woman.
Something introduced that. Yeah, somehow that got introduced into our communities, because we were not like that in the 40s, 50s, and early 60s. Right.
I mean, it's
as a community.
Right. It's several different things that we can kind of point the finger at. You know, I mean, we can even. I mean, that's a rabbit hole, to be honest with you, when we start talking about where that actually came from, right? Where it started.
Yeah, in part two, that's what I really want to nail that part down. So how did we get here?
Right.
And how do we get here in part two? I want to be able to deal with how did we get here.
Okay.
Because you find that mindset is prevailing.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to find that they say that in 100 years, the black community will probably be one of the smallest, if there's any of our community and what we are about left, because we're not having no families. If all the women thinking like that, and all the men saying, well, go ahead on think that way, men gonna have children. Men gonna find them a woman.
Yeah.
They may not be African American. Modern women has become a mindset where you find a lot of things that you see happening. Women now go out on dates with guys they are totally not interested in. Women will do a lot of things today that they have embraced this mindset of that independent, and they kind of do what they want to do. It's kind of like a do what they want to do thing, instead of understanding the responsibility that comes with a woman putting herself in a position where a man can approach her and offer her something. You know, it's not about what all that stuff that a woman could acquire to make her valuable. It's how she is as a woman that makes a woman valuable. And that's when you look at that inherent value, they don't have to do much because God already put the most important, the ability to procreate. So all that extra stuff, we as men, we simple, that's not important to us. But that mindset is so prevailing. Women think they have to be independent, have to do all this, and that's not what we want. That's not making them more married.
Yeah.
See, women were more married when they didn't try to encompass and have all that.
Yeah.
They just was women. Just be feminine, cooperative, and we'll do the rest of it.
I agree.
We'll do the rest. That's basic. So that mindset is overtaking our women, and Satan got a plan because it's keeping us single. And our communities are dying. Our churches are dying. Everything is in disarray without strong families. Now we're gonna catch back up on this on part 2. We're gonna keep talking about modern women. That's Rob. I'm Frankie D, and the people behind the scene. We out. Because we need a little bit of that. We need a little bit of back and forth with that.
Yeah.
We was having a good conversation. Ain't no mic over there for her?
It should be a mic
Some
down there on the
headphones and
floor.
a mic. You don't have to. You could just be. If you don't. Yeah, you don't have to be on camera if you don't want. But we could talk to you a little bit.
I had another mic under my desk. Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, I like when she said that. I don't think I
It's
could be home. Yeah, we want to hear. A lot of women think like that. A lot of young women.
The same way men are like, are put here to reach the masses. I feel like women are too. Like we have a voice too, so it's basically like we don't have a voice. We gotta be home, taking care of these kids, making bottles, clean up the house. When a man get home, he ain't gonna clean out one dish, ain't gonna sweep out one broom.
If he's paying for everything for you and the children.
That mic is already on.
What else you want him to do?
You heard me?
Help with these kids, take care of these kids.
No,
You heard me, Vic? That mic should already be on.
He come home and
I can hear it.
He shows love. He's the
Yeah, I
house
hear it. It's
man.
on.
By the time the men get home, the kids gonna be in bed asleep.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
Sometimes. Yeah. He got to set a schedule. Now, a man got to set a schedule where he can spend more time for his family because that's his most important asset and legacy too. So you got to blend. You got to do it the right way as a traditional man. I don't. When I first got in the ministry, that was a big thing for me. Where the brothers it was brothers that I heard stories of brothers were gone for years, and their kids was, by the time they come back, the kids don't know who they were. And I never wanted that in the ministry because in the ministry, a man say quick, hey, I got to do God's work. But he don't remember that his first mission field is his family.
Correct.
So if you saving all these other people children and your children lost, then you ain't your whole ministry is a failure.
It's not even.
It's a failure.
You failed. Yeah.
You fail. So there's a balance there. So we get into that balance. We're gonna bring this up. Let's go. Traditional men. Pop me in, man. Oh, she done got me hot now. Coming in again, stepping back on you, but we're gonna talk about traditional men. We got somebody on the side that got some viewpoints. Chief Hall Podcast, Rob over there. We're here right now. So as we was talking, and we should be getting a lot of that, but we didn't get it. So now we're gonna get it. And we was talking about traditional men, and one of our behind the scenes producer associates was brought out. She just said, I don't want to be home with them kids all day, because we was talking about traditional men getting ready for the show. And so we was just talking. So I'm gonna just go back through that, and then we'll let her say it. Let me hear a mic check on y'all. Can I hear you?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Watch your little thing. That's Rob's daughter behind there. We'll let her introduce herself and all that. But let's set it up a little bit, and then we'll bring her back in where she said that at. Rob, you want to say something? You just looking crazy?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I do understand the definition of a traditional man, because I grew up, watching a traditional man, which was my grandfather. And just a little backstory.
Yeah.
My grandfather, it was 10. My mama, and she got 9 of the siblings, so that's 10 total. And, of course, my grandma and my granddaddy. So it was 12 people in one house at one time, right? But my grandfather was a traditional man. He had a 6th grade education. right? I do not remember ever seeing my grandma work. I never saw her work. So again, like I say, I never saw her work. I saw, my grandfather, he had 2 jobs steady for 18 years. He worked at Pan Am and he worked at Wackenhut, right? And what I also saw my grandfather do as a traditional man, of course, he took care of the family. My grandma paid for everything, right? But I also saw him, he 6th grade education, he ended up, he bought a lot of property, I saw him manage his money.
So let's yeah. I want you to lay it out now. Traditional men, he provides.
He provides.
Okay, he provide. He makes sure he provide for his family. That's tradition.
Right. Took care of his kids. It was a struggle.
And that's where we'll get to that with the kid part. But what about?
He wasn't around a lot because he was working a lot.
Okay, he was working a lot.
He came home every day.
So they provide for sure. A traditional man, what we understand, he needs to be a provider. Right. Granddaddy paid all the bills.
Yeah, of course.
I understand that too, as far as a man paying all the bills. I came in, my mom and dad divorced, but my dad was paying, but my mom was working when they met, so she was like, I ain't doing that, all that, because my mom, that modern women mindset started during that time there, right after the silent generation. I believe so. I believe that's when they started to really push for women to start to have their own. And my mom was in that. It was in the beginning of that as it phased on in with the that modern woman mindset. Now going back to a traditional man, he's a provide male. He takes care of his family. Now I want to bring in another aspect. He was a man that was involved in the community. He was a church man. He feared God. A traditional man, and what we talking about, a traditional man fears God, and he embraces his family in that setting. The family goes to church, everybody do their thing. That's what we understand and he's going to protect. A traditional man is a protector of his family and his close friends, and also so we name those things. He provides. He's a priest of his home, and he's a protector as a traditional man. Now, the comment was made that one thing about a traditional man, we expect for our woman to raise our children and take care of the home. We expect that, but we had a little flack from the sidelines a little bit, and we want her to talk about that. And I want to know what was her problem with that when we was talking about a traditional man and the woman of today. They had that problem with him having for just being home with the kids all the time. Tell us what was bothering you about that.
What was bothering me?
Introduce yourself a little bit there too. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ashanti.
Okay.
So I am visiting today.
Okay, visiting. That's good.
So my whole thing is I don't believe in being a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
So you've made the comment of men expect their woman to raise their children. So what about the men? They're not supposed to help raise the child either?
Yeah, now that's your question to me.
Yes.
Okay, so now here's the caveat.
Yeah, clarify that for me, please.
Here's the caveat. Most of the women that these men, traditional men that they marry, they understand their role before they're selected for marriage.
The men understand?
The women.
Oh, the women. Okay.
See, the women understood that that's what they're getting into. This man is a provider male. Let's go way back, biblical.
If that is the agreement on that,
That's just how it was.
Okay.
See, nowadays it's rare that you'll find a man with that whole concept, that mindset, that what we said is a provider, traditional male. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to when in the Bible and Jacob had wanted to marry one of Laban's daughter. They used to have a dowry during that time, where if I wanted to marry a young lady, I would have to show that I was able to provide just as well as her dad was able to provide. So I would have to put up some money to show that I work hard and I can provide. Mm-hmm. So the daughter understood that finding a husband she had nothing to do with that. Yeah. It was the dad, and see, that's another thing with modern women. Women don't understand that women can't pick husbands.
It was arranged back in the day.
Because the older people, they negotiated that because they picked better. They understood what was the most important. That was that a man could provide for you. Right. He ain't got to be cute and fine and all that. Right. He just got to be able to make sure you're going to eat.
So even if a man is, abusing you physically,
watch out.
Because that is what was going on.
Wait a minute, now we don't got. Look here now, it was happening, but it was not. It was anecdotal. I heard of some cases, but it wasn't the majority. I heard of that. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't, but it happened like it does now. Look how bad it happens now.
Yeah. The men not even providing, and they're getting beat on.
Yeah, they'll beat you down.
To each his own. I'm not going to judge women when that goes to that.
But the point is, they understood what they was getting in before that. They understood that this is just how it was. My dad is going to find somebody that's going to provide and be able to take care of me and all of our children for the rest of our lives. So they relied on the parents, and those parents, well, if Jacob and Abraham and all of them, they relied on God to help lead so that they can find the proper woman for them that was being brought up that could fit right into that system, and they can raise their family. And that's a key thing. A lot of time women try to pick men, and today women are having a really tough time with that.
We can't pick men because that's not what we do.
Yeah,
we don't pick men. The men pick us.
And they pick on the wrong thing. Even though the guy does choose you and he come approach you, you looking at the wrong thing.
Correct.
And so a lot of times women are going to make those mistakes because if you brought them to men could look through certain things and say that, well, no, this, look at that probably wouldn't be a good choice for you. He a couple of things he said lets me know that he wouldn't be a good provider male. And remember, he was a man that was connected in the community, the churches, his family, and all those things. But we understand that men spend a lot of time away. Now, this is where you have to balance that. Men do spend a lot of time away when they provide. Rob, granddaddy, worked 2 jobs. A lot of men worked a lot of jobs or worked a lot of hours. They come home tired. They kiss their wife, eat dinner, and sometimes they fall asleep at the table, get right in the bed, go to sleep. The kids just saw him, and then he was gone the next morning. So they didn't spend a lot of time with him. But that influence, that presence, the way the mother honored him and respected him, that helped them know that their dad was supposed to be respected, was supposed to be loved, was supposed to be honored. And a lot of that's gone, but that was very important how the mother treated the dad.
Yeah.
It was very important that the mother never complained about the time he was not there. Don't get me wrong. I think men should be able to balance it. And even if you work in 2 jobs.
Back in the day that the women were honoring their husband in their absence is because those men were assuring their wives while they were absent. Nowadays, men are absent and they're not assuring their woman, so it's like she's bad-mouthing him.
And that's a different thing. Yeah. That's going to bring a different result.
Yeah.
Well, in order for us to get back, see, I don't like that the young folks throw out a lot of stuff that the old folks did, and then the old folks don't want to deal with nothing the young folks do. We got to come to we got to look at all of the good things that already happened. The blueprint is there to raise families and communities, churches. It's there, and I think we got to go back to it a lot so that we can really get back to having strong families. You a young lady, you want a strong family. You want to have a husband that is going to protect you and provide and take care of his children. His children respect him. And it's a problem now with women respecting the man, They got so much to say and don't understand that the best way a woman can show her place or femininity, maybe place wrong, is in the way she carries herself. Mm-hmm. A woman, I always learn from the Bible that a woman is supposed to be seen, not heard. Correct. If you say that nowadays, which I'm saying it nowadays, a lot of women probably have a problem with that.
Man, the comments gonna be blowing up,
and that's okay. But I didn't say that.
Fine.
I don't have a problem with it because I don't say that. I'm just quoting, and I understand that theory, and that's a beautiful thing.
A woman started that saying, because my aunt used to tell me that all the time. Like when I was a little girl, I'll be loud. You know, I'm just a kid. I'm being loud. She'd be like, "Hey, a lady's supposed to be seen, not heard."
Yeah, that's where she introduced it to you, but that's saying that's a scripture. That's a biblical concept.
Okay.
That's a biblical concept that women are supposed to be modest in their apparel and the way they carry themselves, and they should not be. You should see a woman. That's why a woman is how she is. She's supposed to be seen, and a man is.
So she's supposed to be seen and not heard. And you said about the being modest. Is that with her
apparel and the way she carries herself?
Well,
you know. I'm
a little opposing to that because
come on, oppose it.
I believe that a woman should not be judged based off of what she's wearing, but how she speaks. Because you have a woman who is half naked and is the most modest woman. You have a woman who is covered up. You can't judge a woman based off of their appearance.
You have to, because we visual.
I would say you judge a woman based off of what's coming out of her mouth, how she's speaking.
That's later though. How we gonna see that? We everybody sees first, and then they find out later what comes out of your mouth. But a woman.
So she's supposed to be seen and not heard. Well, she's being seen.
And then
she's not being heard.
She would be heard in a certain. It all depends on the setting and what you mean being heard. Does she want to be loud and obnoxious, or she want to be?
No, like you're judging her based off her appearance, and you're not giving her the chance to be heard.
Okay, so what's wrong with judging a woman off of her appearance? That's what I want to know.
What's wrong with judging a woman based off her appearance? I believe it's a lot because, for one, who are we to judge? For one, that's just that. I just
appearance.
That right there. Appearance.
Okay, so
who are we to judge? Anybody.
All right, so when you. How are we supposed to, when you look at how you could identify, how will we know?
Through conversing.
No, that's later. But what's going to draw me to you for a conversation?
The appearance.
Okay. In order for me to know what you're all about, you have to be appealing, attractive, or in some way attractive. And it's a nice way to be attractive. So when I'm saying, if a woman is breasts out, thighs out, what's the first thing that you think men are going to think? Oh,
she's the bottom of the bucket.
Not bottom of the bucket, but they think that.
I'm just being
a man's going to
careful
think
with my
physical.
words because my father is here.
Yeah.
Physical.
Continue to be careful.
Yeah.
Continue to be careful with your words.
Physical.
Yeah.
Then automatically we want only what we see.
But
we don't want to know nothing else.
Even if a woman is covered up, a man is gonna.
No. We visual. Remember, men are visual. Mm-hmm. So if we see a woman dressed in a certain way, we deal with her differently. We categorize her differently. Men normally say, "Fun girl, wife material." We could do that. And that's what I'm saying. That's where you have to be careful with how. That's why I said how a woman carries herself if she wants a certain outcome. Because and now that's back into what we talking about modern. It all depends on what you want from a man or from a woman.
Well, it's a lot of stuff that's just dealing with this modern age now. That's just accepted. We see it in TV. Basically, how women are dressing nowadays. You know what I mean? So it's like. It's crazy out here now.
Yeah, because now traditional men,
very crazy.
Traditional men look for a certain thing in a woman.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? They look for a certain way because we don't want nobody else looking at our woman and having certain thoughts and doing certain things.
Would that be control?
No, that's not control. No. That's how she already carries herself. Okay. A traditional man, we look at a woman for how she already carries herself, and we can see if that could be something that we could add, or we could have that on our team, and we'll approach. Now, that's traditional men looking for a wife. Because traditional men, they normally look for a wife. They really not looking for nothing else. A fun girl, but they're classic. They're not really looking for nothing else. Traditional men looking for somebody to build a legacy because they work hard. They want to have something to leave as a legacy. That's my dad, you know. They want something to leave. And it's all about building that legacy. Traditional men is what helped set up the foundation of the world.
Do you believe that traditional men and modern women can coincide?
That's a good question because we're going to have to answer that on the next show. Yeah. Could that modern woman mindset, I don't need a man, I'm independent, I can do it all myself, or could that fit in with that traditional man? What you saying? That ain't what you saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But
come on, talk to me.
I'm a modern woman. I don't believe in that I don't need a man.
But you believe that a woman don't need to stay home with the kids?
Yeah. So with that modern woman title, it has levels to it. Like, I'm not a stay-at-home mom. Now, will I make sure my home is good? Yes, I will. Will I make sure, everything is put together? Yeah, I will. It will be some days when the house is going to be a mess when you get home. So on those days, just help me out. I know you've been at home working.
So with granddaddy would have cleaned the house?
Nope.
Oh, damn.
He would have came home fussing. Like, man, I've been home taking care of these kids all day. This is a job, too, longer than 8 hours.
Well, see, now, that's the thing. Now, I don't fuss. My wife is a stay-at-home wife. I don't fuss when something out of place. I go and I help out. I do stuff. Mm-hmm. That's where we have come to be a little bit more like statistical. They say black men are the most likely to be to work, to be cooperative with a woman nowadays. They say that. I might have said it wrong, but anyway, I don't fuss with her. I think that the traditional men can meet women halfway. Where like with granddaddy, he wouldn't have done nothing to help with the kids, but I think that's where we could meet and help. Where the traditional man of today, he could come home and say, "Okay, babe, I'll just eat a sandwich, and I'll help you get the babies ready to go to bed, and we can go here, relax and talk, and I'll tell you about my day."
Man changed not one diaper back then. I don't believe
it's a good possibility they didn't. It's a good possibility.
Yeah.
But I can't say for sure because I just know that probably majority didn't. That wasn't number one. They didn't have loves and stuff. What you talking about? They didn't have these kind of Pampers. They had the other Pampers that had to be washed. So a lot of times they probably didn't because they had the other Pampers that they booed in them cloth diapers and all that stuff there. Or the kids was using the bathroom outside. It's different.
Yeah.
So I mean, granddaddy probably didn't change no diapers. You're right, because there was no diapers.
Listen, your great grandfather did not change no diapers. He was not the type of man that did that. Let me just tell you, my grandma used to make his plate, put it on the table. He sat down, and he didn't have to do anything. She brought everything to him, right? My grandma would basically cook all day, pretty much.
So let me ask y'all this.
Grandma Denson.
Did y'all take like the traditional men back then? Did they take out the trash at least?
Yeah, of course,
yeah.
Of course. Now
the men of the day don't take out no trash.
No. Now
the modern men
take out trash.
Yeah, he might.
Hold on, listen.
Touch the trash.
Let me say this about you about that traditional man, which is your great grandfather and my grandfather, right? So, of course, my grandma died before he did, right? But this traditional man, what I saw, he took care of his wife. He did not put her in a home. He did everything for her when she got sick. I don't know if you remember that, yes, right? Mm-hmm. So he took care of her. And
her mom.
And he took care of her. He took care of my great grandmother, right? Which was your great grandma, right? He took care of all these people in the house, right? Mm-hmm. He cleaned them. He did all this stuff. I'm talking about literally. Took care of him.
That's another thing
that's
about
a traditional man.
Traditional men, they're very versatile.
Yeah.
Like the modern day man now, they changing tires, fixing stuff around the house. A lot of men today don't know how to do all that stuff like we did. You know, we was raised by those old.
Give them some credit now.
I'm just saying now.
Yeah.
You know, we like see he did all that worked 2 jobs, and then he still turned around and took care of all of those women that got sick in the family.
Yep.
And he also, if something broke around the house, he fixed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's how we are too. We do all our yard work if we need to. We do all that stuff around the house. We could do that. Nowadays, we know that if we can get somebody, we can pay somebody to do it. Now we can do that, but we could do all that. Now the men of the day, all they know how to do is pay somebody to do it.
Listen, he didn't.
We should do it.
Listen, he didn't fix no plumbing.
He had somebody to do that, huh, Stank?
Me.
I'm talking about before you. You weren't born.
Yeah. He did have somebody before me, and I actually met the guy. It was an older guy, but my grandfather was very cheap. He was very tight.
Yes.
Because he worked so hard. Now, that's right. Yeah. So look, this traditional man thing, we could continue to talk about it because there's a lot of good stuff we didn't bring out. But we talked about it. But the main thing of it, they protect, they provide, and they were the priests of the home, making sure the kids knew that there was a God and all these good things and prayed with them. And they were led by God. The traditional man understood that God was the head of the house, and he was a pawn in that whole scheme and following what God would have him say. A lot of that is probably won't ever come back because of what all the beliefs nowadays, and people don't want to submit to that concept of that. It's times have changed so much. It's not dead.
It's not. That belief that God is first, the man is in the midst of that. Then you have the woman that's, attributing to that. That belief is not dead.
Yeah, but see, modern women don't. You just said
I'm a modern woman, and I'm telling you that it's not dead.
But that's what I'm saying. If your husband said to you, "Baby, I don't want you to work," you have to submit to that concept because it's for the greater good of the family.
As long as I'm working on me, doing something for me, I'm cool.
Wait a minute, now it ain't about you once you have kids.
It is.
No, it's not. See, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Because I was just talking to my person about this the other day.
To who?
To my person. To my boyfriend. I was
talking to him
about this.
Oh, okay.
I was saying that.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute.
I never heard that. My person.
Yeah, my person.
Yeah, that's different.
I've said it a few times. Maybe
okay, yeah.
You know what? We're gonna talk off camera in our private conversation. But go ahead, continue.
But what I was saying was, in order for a mom to show up completely for her children and the man of the house, she have to put herself first, because I've witnessed this from my mom.
Okay, I can understand that.
Like moms today, they neglect themselves. They don't do no self-care. They don't do nothing that makes them happy. It's always, I'm a mom first. No, first you are a woman first, and then you're a mom immediately after. So you have these women, it's a lot that be on mothers' shoulders when you have the man out doing what they need to do, or you have single moms that don't even have the man there to help them.
Yeah, that's different. We ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah, so it's just like a little mixture of them both. Like the women who are married, they're stay-at-home moms, they're doing all of this. They don't have time for themselves, so they could be frustrated.
So, but they have to reconcile that. Just like I was saying with the man that's out all the time, he got to reconcile and make sure he can spend time with his kids and doing that. You have to be able to find. Because the most important thing is the family and the children. Mm-hmm. Okay, your hair, nails, and all that, loving yourself.
It's beyond
that's something that you. But I'm saying that's something you have to deal with eternally.
It's beyond that,
because you can't let that affect how you deal, how the children and the family must continue to thrive. So if there's a problem there, the woman and the man has to figure out within themselves. See, that's where the duty part comes in. Where a lot of people don't understand that marriage ain't about love and all that. It's mostly about duty and responsibility to that family. See, when you start talking about you got to love yourself before everybody else, you got to be very careful. Because then everybody else. But I'm saying then everybody else gonna come second. Where they got the kids got and the husband got to come first. Then them kids, their well-being got to be the number one thing that drives you.
Yeah,
and that's supposed to make you happy that you provide food, clean clothes, and a safe haven for those children to thrive in. All that stuff should be what makes you a woman, that drives you, that you doing what you have to do for your family. A lot of women, they start thinking that, and they understand that all that's gonna come from that. That's gonna bring you what you need as you provide for those lives that they can't provide for themselves.
See, that's why I can't be a stay-at-home mom.
See, you keep using the word can't and all that, but I
don't want to.
Okay, well that's something that's something
that's a choice.
That's a choice.
It's my choice.
Yeah, that's a choice.
Like
but that's a modern. That's a modern woman concept.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No, for sure it is. I am a modern woman.
Yeah, but you was just saying that you want to make sure that you don't mix it. Don't mix it. I want you to make sure you keep that understanding of what a traditional woman, because we was talking about submission. That's what we're talking about. Submitting to your husband. Submitting to your husband. So if your husband said to you, you got married, he said, look, baby, I want you to be home with the kids. I don't want my kids to go to because you ain't going to be able to work anyway once you start giving birth, especially if they close. Yeah. So you ain't going to be able to work for 5-6 years anyway. That's a long time. It's a long, but that's why it works how it works.
And it's not even about like working and a job is two different things.
Okay.
Like working is your life mission, and that's to help other people. It's not about you. It's not about me.
Not when you got kids. That life mission, that's out the door.
See, that's where no.
Yeah, because you got children. Yeah. That's your life mission.
Wow. That's
your life mission, that they get out of that house and be successful, contributing citizens. We had a good one tonight, and we'll talk some more. This is Frankie D, and that's Robbie Rob. We're going to keep on coming at that. We out. Into that pronoun kind of shit, though.
Oh, no, That's something I created. I never heard nobody.
Yeah, I never heard it before neither.
Yeah, no, that's what I created. That's me.
Why you wasn't comfortable saying my boyfriend?
I said it. It depends. Like sometimes I do say it, sometimes I say my person. Like it depends on how I feel.
But
at
why?
That time.
Why?
My person.
It depends on how I feel at that time.
It sounds.
Listen, look. We talk about how you feel all the time, right? Mm-hmm. We had these conversations about how you feel, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to put logic to these things, if I'm making sense.
Like I had already said, my man, so it's already that I have somebody there. So let me say my person. Now I already done made it clear that I do. I don't know.
My person, my person sounds a little bit.
What does it sound like?
Optional. Yeah.
Optional.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound. It doesn't sound.
It don't sound personal.
It doesn't sound intimate. It doesn't sound loving.
Really?
No,
yeah, my person doesn't sound loving.
Oh wow. I do apologize if you.
But I mean, I know you ain't think of all that.
Yeah.
But when you said it, I was saying, oh damn, it sounded almost like a friend. I thought you were talking about one of your friends. I was looking around like, yeah, what you talking about?
Oh my god. That turned quickly.
And what was the other thing that you said about self-care? Right?
Yeah.
Of course, the self-care.
I mean, like self-care, what I mean, like journaling, like, getting into your word, doing, like, what's happening to God, having that personal
that's your
God. Listen, of course.
That goes without saying that.
Yeah, that's going to come.
Like, I'm just saying, you talking about all these stuff, what you got to do for the world, that's over with. Once you have children, the world is null and void.
So why, like, men can do it? Why women can do it? Now, that's not going to say that why women can't. Like,
you know what I'm saying? But men do that. Everything they doing, that's still connected. That's part of their networking for their children.
So
everything I do and grow and build, that's my children will be able to benefit from that.
So don't you think the same thing with?
How do you feel about how she did that? When you say that she kind of put herself first and kind of put her children.
No, my mom always put herself last, and then her children got the short end of that because she always say, I would lose everything for my kids. I'll go to hell and back for my kids. I'll go to jail for my kids. Like, you're not putting yourself first.
I mean, but I don't, you know, it's going a little too far. You got to talk like that. I go to jail for my kids. What good are you going to be in jail with?
Correct.
You know, I mean, we go.
Because she's not putting herself first.
It's just look. You don't.
What should she do to put herself first to where she can't?
For my mom,
where she don't have to think that way. Because let me tell you something. Go ahead.
I feel like my mom should have healed a lot of her trauma. She lost a kid when she was only 17. Before she was even 20 years old, she lost a kid.
Okay.
She had to drop out of high school because she had another kid that was in the hospital close to death. She lost a brother. She was the black sheep of her family. So she had a lot going on within herself.
And then she had y'all.
Which brother she lost during that time?
My Uncle Stank.
No, when your Uncle Stank died.
I was 1 year old because that was 99 when he died.
Right. So I'm thinking that you're talking about when she was in school.
No, when she was in school is when she had Jeremiah. That's when she dropped out of when she was going to Central.
Right.
Because Jeremiah was paraplegic, so she was back and forth in the hospital with him. She was only 17 years old.
Right.
So I believe she lost my sister when she was. That was after she had Jeremiah because it was wrong.
You see how much unnecessary trauma she brought on herself?
Mm-hmm. They do.
Because she didn't have to bring those children. She didn't have to connect with those men that put her in those positions. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, she had the power to say, I'm not going to carry a baby from a man that is not willing. I don't carry his last name.
Right.
It's all right. Men want to have sex. We want to have fun. I tell my daughter, okay, but you ain't got to carry. My daughter got pregnant from this guy that was a dope dealer, playing like he was a rapper producer in Chicago with all this stuff. I went over there to see them. He had $30,000 all over the table, money everywhere. And I told my daughter, I said, look, you got to get away from this. You got to get away from this. You got pregnant from it. I said, look, I'm going to just tell you straight like this here. You're looking for a life of heartache and miseries. That's all you're doing now, crying. So now you done messed up and got pregnant from him, so you better think about that child's future. What you got now? Mm-hmm. I said, what you got? She said, nothing. I said, that's what the baby going to have.
Excuse me.
Nothing.
Yep.
So you got to look at this now and see how far you want to take this. Everybody tell you, have the baby, we'll help. And all. Look, ain't nobody, don't listen to that.
Okay.
You got a decision to make for the rest of your life. You made a mistake. This boy wasn't committed to that, so you can't have unprotected sex. Women got to really protect themselves. You got to not have unprotected sex with a man that's not willing to commit with his last name on yours. Because then you got him. Got him with that last name and Miss Jones, Miss Jones. You got him now. You could commit, and now you can take that somewhere. But other than that, you go now. He can still leave. I understand, but at least
it's much harder to leave when you married.
Yeah, at least it ain't easy. The will and the intention was there. But if a man, so my daughter, going back to my daughter, I told her, look. You gotta look at what you're gonna provide. I can't help you. Your mama can't help you. I got a new baby. You gotta look at what you you're gonna have to be dealing with. Are you ready to do that and carry this man's seed around for the rest of your life? That it wasn't even worse. He just wanted to have sex. He just wanted to have fun.
Yeah, that's the worst thing, having a kid by the wrong person. That's so scary.
All of them.
Man, where he at, man? Where he at?
He up there. He was in prison.
Thank you, God, for sparing my life.
So he was in prison.
He was locked up at the time because he got caught on. Illinois got some of the worst gun laws ever.
Right.
And he got caught up in that. And
so he's in prison now?
He's out now.
Oh, okay.
But he got locked up on some gun charges. But my daughter got pregnant. I said, look here, whatever you do, I'm gonna love you. But I want you to understand, you got control on what's coming in this world. You got control of that. You made a mistake in not choosing him and then having unprotected sex with him. Mm-hmm. Now you gonna be stuck with it. I don't think that's a good deal.
Did she keep it? Thank you, Jesus.
I say, well, look, I'm your daddy. I'm gonna tell you straight like this. I don't want you walking around with some just lugging behind some dude kid, bringing the seed on, and then it ain't good. You come to the market to another man. You free set. You sex. That's what men see when they see a woman with a baby in tow. Oh, she having sex. I want to have sex with her. They're not going to take that other man's kid serious. Yeah. Especially nowadays.
No, you got somebody that's going to be a stepdaddy now.
That's very few. They'll play that role for a little bit.
Actually,
but now, stepdaddy, that's it. That is a bad deal. We're gonna talk. We talked about a little bit of blended families, and we saw how when we talked about how they gonna work. Yeah, we actually talk about stepdaddy, but
I took. I was different, so
it was too. It was too late. We was already older.
What? What's that? Me?
Oh, you didn't have to stop.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you need to bring the mic on. She let that ride.
Yeah. Nah, I'm talking about with your.
Yeah, we were already older.
With your,
like,
what you mean?
The kids was older. I was older. The boys was older. So I feel like a blended family would be more effective when all of the kids from both sides grew up together.
It can make it work. Yeah. Everybody need to understand each other's role and respect. Mom, you know, that new woman, whatever it is, respect.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Respect. This ain't your mama, but she your mama. Yeah. If you can understand what that means. Because I won't tolerate it. Like my new wife now, my kids, I told my daughter, look, you gonna either be able to come here and come in this house and shut this house down. This house shut down at 8:30. If you could work with that, I don't want your friends and all that. I told them I don't want none of that because I don't want my little wife looking at uncomfortable. Because at one time my daughter was having her friends coming in and my new kids, all her friends was coming in and interrupting they sleep and doing it. I said, no, we can't do that. You can go to an Airbnb. I'll give you a hotel room. But my house is peaceful. It was like that when they was little. I kept the house peaceful. My kids went to bed at 8:30, and I was able to do my studies and anything I needed to do, and time for me and their mama to bond. So you got to control that time and your home like that. But the blended families, that's the only way. It had to be that respect. Yeah. Got to respect them homes. It ain't the same, and that's gonna really help. But those are good points, and people gonna be talking about it for the longest. But we can't come away from what has been working for thousands of years. I could see
it have not been working because these women, this traditional.
It been working.
Women,
Adam was a tradition. He was a traditional man.
We're not happy.
Ooh, who told you that?
My grandma wasn't happy.
Who told you that? You don't know that?
I'm sorry, I do know. My great grandma was not happy.
How you know?
Because
your great
you looking with baby eyes.
Essie and Freddie, this great grandparents.
Well, first of all, you only know them when they like old. Think about it. Those are your great grandparents. Yeah. But let me just tell you how they were when I was coming up, because I had more time with them.
But that's a good thing. What you're saying. Remember that word happy, and then we'll talk about when Rob tell you this story. I'm gonna show you how important happy is to building communities.
Well,
and churches and all that. Yeah.
But anyway, when I was growing up, they seemed happy to me.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And of course, how we grew up, we just didn't question a lot of stuff.
And y'all were so blinded.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
No.
We just didn't question stuff.
Listen what I said.
We just
and that's why y'all in the problem y'all in now. Y'all don't follow the blueprint. You got all these questions and don't know nothing. Like I tell my.
But we wasn't verbal with it. We observed. That's the thing.
Okay, but y'all was observing with the wrong eyes. No, y'all children looking at grown folk business.
We was observing. Let me see. How can I put this? We had truthful eyes.
Wait a minute.
Not deceiving eyes.
What you mean, truthful eyes?
Truthful eyes I know as to what's really going on here.
No, well, you don't know what's really going on.
We did. We observed.
Because that's grown. But you looking as a child at what grown people, how they dealing with stuff. You don't know what you seeing. You only seeing, and you trying to, what you saw.
What?
You think they was unhappy. All right, okay. Because
the man, your husband is gone for the entire weekend. Oh, you ain't coming home? Hold on, what's going on here?
Who you talking about?
What that mean?
My great granddaddy, Freddie, gone for the entire weekend.
One weekend.
Wait,
how old were you?
My grandfather, or you talking about on your mama's side?
Your grandfather.
How old were you? Looking at that.
When was he gone for the whole weekend? I never seen that.
It could have been a business trip.
I mean, when I was a kid, I never saw it.
Trip.
Yeah, what you thought it was? A little girl. How old you was? 3, 4?
Business trip.
How old were you?
Okay, a business trip.
How old were you?
I don't remember how old I was.
See? The kids be trying to look at it like that. You hear that a lot, though. People saying they wasn't happy. They saying that those women, because those women knew that they weren't going to keep these families together being happy. Mm-hmm. Happy is just, that comes and goes. It's feeling. Mm-hmm. It's duty. Them women going to cook. My mentor that I just left before him, they've been married 55 years. And they could be mad. His wife could be, they don't even be talking. But his wife always, for 55 years, he always had breakfast and coffee and dinner for 55
that just
years.
Made me think about something.
Yeah. Because it was her duty. Let me tell you a quick story there. When they met, he met her and then, her mother was very well known in Opelika as a no nonsense type person. Miss Adams' mom, and Doc knew that, and everybody knew about that. But her name was Ma Brown. They used to call her Ma Brown. I believe that's what it was. But anyway, he went to see her, and he wanted to talk to the mama and tell her, I want to marry your daughter. So he went in there and he came in there and sat down. She said, sit down, baby. He told his daughter to get him something to drink or whatever. He said, hey, look here, I'm going to say, hey, I don't know how I'm going to say this, but I want to marry your daughter. She said, yeah, you do? That's true? He asked his daughter, that's true? She said, take all your clothes off right now. And the daughter took all her clothes off. And he said, turn around. And he told Mr. Adams, she said, you see her like how she is? Just like you take her out of here with no marks, her arms, everything, right? That's just how you, when you get tired of her and you don't want her, don't beat on her, bring her back just like you got her. Now put your clothes back on. Okay, y'all got my blessings. You're going to get married.
Just like that.
Just like that.
That's something my mom would say, but she won't tell me to take my clothes off. She was like, my mom used to always say.
Well, he going to see all that anyway.
She said, whenever I call my child phone and the day you pick up and say, she sleep right now, that's the day I'm going to be on my way. That's what mom always say.
She said that to who?
Just, she would tell me.
I mean, how's your mom relationship with the young brother, Doc?
My mom?
Yeah, picked her up. She was on the phone. He was talking to her. And first thing she said, just make sure you bring her back however you picked her up.
Yeah, you didn't meet her, like, have you met her?
Yeah.
Oh, so you met her and she cool with you. Y'all been together now for some years.
A year.
Oh, okay. It's still
new. Well, I told him, I was like, yeah, okay, she all right with your ass now.
My mom is
just
nice to everybody but her kids.
Just
don't
get on the bad side, buddy. That's it.
Don't get on the bad side.
Don't get on the bad
Lisa
side.
ain't cooked nothing, but I'll take a piece of that pie.
Yeah. I thought you was gonna bring some Chick-fil-A, man.
You were saying about the young lady was cooking for her husband for 50 years, even when she was upset. Yeah, it was not me. If I'm upset, I won't cook. But then
because you don't understand, and then but then
I changed that though. Not my mom, but my daddy called me at like 6:00 one morning, and was like, "What you doing?" I was like, "I'm still asleep, but I'm up now." He was like, "You ain't cooking Vic no breakfast." I was like, "For what?" He was like, "You should be." I was like, "Oh, okay." So
it's because I'm trying to teach you something.
This was just recently.
Trying to show you something.
All we want is peace.
So I understand that. So
and we
were
want to eat.
We were feuding a few
damn
weeks
sure
ago.
want to have sex.
And I was literally, after you called me, it was like 3 mornings later. We were feuding, and I was like, dog, I was literally in bed, batting with myself if I should wake up and fix this man some breakfast. Literally in bed, batting with myself. I really was. Because I'm not going to lie.
Because you're modern.
Yeah. So, you know what?
See, that's a traditional trait. That's duty first.
Yes. I just kept hearing my daddy's voice in my head when he called me at 6:00 in the morning. Like, you should be cooking that man some breakfast.
You know why my wife is my wife?
Why?
is because no matter what, she made sure all my clothes. I was over the road. I got off the road to see if this was the woman that I could build something with. But when I met her, that smile and she brought a aura with her that I say I needed that in my life. My wife just smiled, don't talk a lot, whatever. And when I used to come stay at the house or come visit, she would cook me something. She never asked me, okay, so what job you going on now? What's going on? She never said nothing. She just made sure whatever I needed, because my mom and my dad had their foot in my rump at all times when I was coming off the road transitioning, because that's the hardest thing for a truck driver to do, to give up all that freedom and able to make money and have all that freedom and be now landing and be home. And now you got to work with somebody. That's why truckers stay on the road. Most of them stay a long time because they don't have to work with nobody. They don't have to deal with nothing. They money come, they spend it, they send money home. They don't have to answer no questions. They don't got to do none of that. But when you home and you got to work with somebody to keep a household going, a lot of them, they fail because they so used to that. But anyway, I got off the road, came home, and she provided a safe place where my mom was in my ear, my dad was in my ear, and trying to really find who I wanted to haul for and what I wanted to do. But she just provided a nice hot meal, a shower, and peace, a peaceful environment. That's why she my wife now. And she didn't even know what she was doing. She always just said, I never been thought about getting married and all that type of stuff. And she didn't even know, by just providing that for me, she got all of she got all my dedication. Now she don't work, she don't have none of that stuff. I take care of everything. But she take care of everything too. See? My wife makes sure all my clothes is in my drawer standing up like this. All my T-shirts, underwear,
if I'm married,
everything.
Well,
my breakfast, all that. I just call when I'm leaving the gym, babe. I'm on those. I want them egg whites in a piece of toast. My wife had that stuff smoking when I come there.
Well, I did wake up that morning and I cooked the breakfast.
But I'm saying they provide. That's peaceful.
The devil didn't win.
Yeah, my wife don't be fussing. She don't be fussing about stuff, and she. I listen to her because I understand. They got a voice. She has a voice home.
Even packed out the lunch, made a sandwich, made a salad.
Oh man, she took care of that there. Well, you said that's wife. That's wife stuff. I
felt good. So I'm not even gonna lie. So maybe I need to do that more often.
You see that? You know why? Because that is a very important aspect of life.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I love me some food.
Yeah. And if somebody's providing that for you,
we
man,
done?
hey.
Or we still recording?
Yeah, we done. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, look here, man.